All right, up here at the top right, a player who tried some proxy gates against MarineKing is on the team Startail. He is...
Startail AcE.
He looks a little stressed. StarCraft Times, a fan in the audience. There's actually some Japanese up there, if I remember correctly. If I'm reading that correctly. And now at the bottom position, we've got the King of Marines himself, a member of the team Prime. He is...
MarineKing Prime win.
So many fans of MarineKing. The crowd is wild. There's a shot of him now with his glasses on. He's got his checkered keyboard. He's ready to try to take out Startail's AcE. Now, as you've noticed from the start this time, we have a pretty standard opening from AcE, but you'll also notice that MarineKing did not wall off this time. You may be asking me, why, Wolf? Why does walling off really matter if your opponent proxy gates you? Well, it's because you can't use that barracks to sim-city. Your Marines get isolated from your SCVs, so if your opponent controls the Zealots properly, you can isolate those Marines and kill them, but the SCVs can't support. As it turned out, AcE basically just attack moved. The SCVs isolated the Zealots, and the Marines were getting all their DPS out. And it was a really, really funky move by AcE. Whoa, that is some creative artwork right there. These look like some Cabbage Patch Kids. I don't actually know what those really are, but they look like Cabbage Patch Kids or something like that. My sister played with those when she was younger. They didn't look exactly like that, but they look similar. Now, AcE did scout. He saw no gas, so he's probably thinking, okay, MarineKing, you're going to do it again. You're going to go for a fast command center, gasless expand. That's what MarineKing's been doing recently, so it's pretty predictable. And oh, AcE trying to pick off one of those SCVs. Marine does come out to chase out the probe, but AcE knows. Now, of course, there is another option. It could be some sort of crazy proxy barracks all in, but we would have seen the SCVs go out already if that were going to be the case. So most likely not. But, of course, AcE is going to have to be wary of this possibility and may want to scout around with that probe. Now, MarineKing has started his command center. The walling off last game just could have gone so well for AcE. I can't believe how that game turned out. I cannot believe it. Now, a lot of people, I know fans of MarineKing are going to say, well, he held that move off beautifully. Well, he did the best he could. But against great, Zealot control, there would have been absolutely no way he could have held that. Absolutely no way. And I just cannot believe how that game turned out. Cannot believe it. So, double gas going up as the command center starts to finish. AcE getting a little bit mobile out there with his Stalker. He'll get a shot of it second, going around his natural. There he is now. Just trying to check for those possible proxies because, if your opponent doesn't get gas, there's only two options. Now, he is going to go for a 1-gate expand off of 2 gas, so he has a lot of extra gas banked up. So that allows him to tech if he wants to. Now, if your opponent is going for a gasless expand, you can do things like tech and expand at the same time because he's not going to have a lot of units to pressure you early on. But remember, MarineKing is the king of Marines. He's added 2 more barracks. In fact, he's adding that first tech lab to get stim ASAP. Now, what MarineKing's been doing recently, for those of you guys who haven't watched his matches here in recent times, he's actually, of course, getting the first and second gas immediately as the command center is finishing up. Now he pulls that gas a little bit, gets those add-ons as you see, gets a reactor and 2 tech labs, then he gets stim ASAP as well as concussive shells as he expands. And there's some fans in the audience. They are cheering. Some foreign fans, some Korean fans hiding. But anyway, you get those upgrades up ASAP, but MarineKing, unlike most other Terrans, gets a very fast Ghost Academy and tries to put pressure on like that. And of course, sometimes when you're trying to tech and get your expansion up, you do rely on those sentries. So AcE is going to have to be wary of the possibility of those ghosts. They did do exceedingly well last time we saw MarineKing play. Now those warp gates are finishing up for AcE. MarineKing luckily gets a scout in here. He's going to see the Nexus. In fact, he may even see all of the unit composition of Startail. AcE is going to see the transferring probes as they come down now. Sentries are spotted. Now AcE is actually starting to power up and add a ton more gateways back at home. He may want to try to do some sort of pressure attack. Actually going up to 4 gateways. Pardon me. There was an imaginary gateway in my mind. He is going to look, it looks like, put on a little bit of pressure with these sentries. When you get those early sentries out. No, yeah, he is going up to 5 gates. I'm not crazy. I promise. So when you have all those sentries out, you can do a lot of damage. You can force field off bunkers, but we may have some sort of funky situation where MarineKing's going to pressure, but all of his units are going to get trapped. This could actually be really bad for MarineKing. If the force fields are good, and they are, a lot of MarineKing's units not firing here. He's losing a lot of his units. The Marauder's tanking a lot of hits. Those sentries just don't do damage very quickly, but nicely, AcE does pull his probes. The Marines trying to split off into several different directions so that the sentries are forced to target one Marine at a time. Very smart moves by MarineKing, but he did end up losing a lot there. And AcE sneakily gets a probe into his base. Does have those forward pylons up, so he could put on some aggression here. In fact, he's going to chase down that lonely Marauder. His friends aren't going to help him out. Does die. Now MarineKing desperately trying to get some bunkers up here for the counterattack. AcE is coming in here. He's going to try to target down that bunker. A lot more sentries pouring in as well. Not the best force fields I've ever seen, but he does isolate some of that army. It looks like MarineKing will hold, though, at least for now, until he warps in another round of units. MarineKing being a little bit bold with his units. He may want to pull back to those bunkers where it's much safer. If he gets force field off too far away from the bunkers, like what's happening right now, it's very difficult. 2 micro units, a lot of SCVs going down, and the sentries taking out what they can. The bunker is still at mostly full health. It looks like with good control, MarineKing will hold this because AcE just does not have that much force field energy left, and he's being very indecisive here. Trying to get those few more units in. He does get those units in. He has a few force fields. He wants to use them perfectly, but he's not using them at all. And when you don't use them at all, suddenly your army gets smaller and smaller. Nice force fields here again. Now he's trapped most of the army. Those were some good force fields. That's how you want to do it. Bait MarineKing out away from the bunker, then trap these units where he can't run away. And oh, MarineKing losing a lot of units here. Right now, 40 probes to 33 SCVs, so MarineKing has kept up his SCV production quite well, but he's lost a lot of SCVs at the same time. Back at home, AcE actually not transitioning at all. Does get 2 more gases at his natural, but he hasn't teched up at all. He's just sticking with these gateways for now. He wants to isolate these units. Taking a lot of extra hits, though. Now, nice isolation of those units with those force fields. The Zealots having to run away, though. You know, force fields can be a double-edged sword sometimes if they trap your opponent's units, but then your Zealots can't do any damage because they're blocked out. Be very careful with that. Now, MarineKing has started that starport. In fact, he started the reactor as well. Now, when those medevacs get out, this sort of aggression will completely end. So, okay, so AcE is getting a forge. He wants to transition here. He's probably going to add a Twilight Council soon. I was going to say, if he keeps this up, MarineKing just has to buy enough time to get those medevacs out, because once the medevacs come out, this aggression just has to stop. You can't fight with gateway units that are unupgraded against medevac. Marine Marauder with stim. It's a big mouthful there. MarineKing, man, he is brave. He's getting out on the map. There's that Twilight Council I was talking about. Wants to start tanking up a little bit. He's done some significant damage. He's lost a lot more units, though, than I think would have been necessary. And his tech is just so far behind that of MarineKing. So if MarineKing gets those medevacs out, there's going to be a timing where he can do a lot of dropship harass, pressure a lot. And AcE, I don't think he should be doing this. He's just taking so many unnecessary hits. This timing is over, AcE. Go home. So what you need to do, he is going to maybe get this factory, which would be pretty significant. That means no more scouting for MarineKing, of course. He'll have to rebuild that to make some more starports. And nice! Some of the units do come out. MarineKing being a little bit too bold with his units does pick off the sentry. So Chrono boosting back at home. AcE is on the charge upgrade as well as the armor upgrade. MarineKing's already almost at +1. His first 2 medevacs are on the way. I take it back. His first 2 medevacs are out. His second 2 are on the way. And when you have 4 medevacs out, you can split your units up into several different groups. With medevacs, you can micro over force fields, you can drop in your opponent's base, do all sorts of things. So now, AcE is the one who's going to have to be careful and cautious, because MarineKing, even though he doesn't have a large army, he's got those medevacs, which are so crucial when your opponent just doesn't have the real damage dealers. He's got mostly Stalkers in his army. The Zealots, he's trying to increase his Zealot count because charge is on the way. And look at that, MarineKing actually repairing that factory, that one SCV. Repair on the go job. There, did repair that factory, so the factory is going to be able to scout, tank a little bit of damage. That's actually a really good thing about factories. A lot of players don't use them for. They can tank a ton of damage. Your Stalkers at the back are firing at the factory instead of those Marines. It's not what you want to have happen. Charge has finished up now. You do see MarineKing moving out. Now he may get some of his forces trapped here, but he has so many, and Charge is done. But the Zealots were at the back, and this engagement going much better for MarineKing than it should have. Not even having to micro his units back behind the force fields. He just has too much. AcE, a lot of his Zealots going down. He's trying to force field defensively. He needs to get out of there. Zealots running forward, but to what avail? running into force fields, not attacking anything. AcE playing extremely sloppy here today. Warping in a few more units. He does have +1 armor. Charge is on the way. He's trying to get that Templar Archives up, but will it be up in time? MarineKing looks like he may want to put on a little bit more aggression here. That charge and that armor are going to help him significantly in defending against possible drops. But I got to say, MarineKing's looking pretty solid here. He's so bold. He's so far forward here. He can actually take the gold base. He's got that much map control. Meanwhile, AcE is trying to take his own third base. Smartly adds a pylon to those 2 gateways because that is the one place that will get dropped and he'll lose those 2 gateways, or at least power of them. Templar Archives is finishing up now. He may want to try to use Archons here initially because there's no way he's going to have Storm in time to deal with this attack. In fact, he may not even want to warp in Templar at all. He may just want to get a few more sentries out to hold this attack off as long as he can. Blink is almost done, but I don't know how useful that's going to be. Now, this is what I'm talking about, the multi-pronged attack with the medevacs dropping into the main. It looks like MarineKing saw their Stalkers there. He doesn't want to go up into the main. That third base is finishing up. Now, the weapons upgrade is going to be really helpful in defending this as well. When the Zealots have 1-1, they're extremely useful. Remember, though, MarineKing does have +1 attack of his own. Makes those Marauders quite potent, especially against structures. Now the Ghosts are out. MarineKing not getting as fast of Ghosts as usual. But he does have those Ghosts out. They're going to be very helpful at EMPing those Sentries because the Sentries are really the backbone of the army right now for AcE. AcE has not warped in. Actually, he's warped in 4 Templar. I take it back. I don't know where they're hiding, but he scans. Nice EMP hits almost all the sentries. He's going to EMP again. Most of those Zealots low on shields. The Templar were hiding at the back. They don't have Storm, though. He's going to try to feed back some of those medevacs, which will be quite useful. Going to make an Archon. So nice usage of those Templar. But as the Zealots fall here, this Bio army is just so strong. I don't know if AcE can hold this. He's trying to blink micro his Stalkers. He's well known for that, but he doesn't even have enough energy to use Guardian Shield anymore. The probes are coming off the line. The medevac's healing the units incredibly well. It looks like AcE is not going to hold this. There's just too many units. He's blinking to his heart's content, but it's not enough. It's just not enough. MarineKing is going to crush through. He's got more reinforcements on the way. Those Zealots trying their best. Even the Ghosts remain alive. Zealots trying to charge in here. Man, command center's going down for MarineKing. And I gotta tell you guys, I haven't seen a more crushing victory for MarineKing in a long time. He deserves this win. Putting down those command centers, showing AcE, you can't play sloppy against me, you can't proxy gate me, I'm the king of Marines. Some feedbacks going off, desperately trying to hold the Archons. Can't warp in time. GG! MarineKing takes out AcE and a crushing victory. There he is now, takes his glasses off, drinks his Powerade, throws his headphones on the table. He's very pleased with himself. AcE cannot be happy with how that game turned out for him. Put on a little bit too much aggression early on with those sentries, with the Zealots. Well, welcome back. Here I am again, and I am exhilarated. Those games were exciting and awesome and very quick. The proxy gate was like the luckiest thing that could have happened to StarTale AcE. He sends his probe, he scouts. Luckily, it's a 4-player map, a huge 4-player map, by the way. It's Terminus Re. He scouts his opponent. It's the last thing MarineKing would have expected. MarineKing goes for a fast command center, a gasless expand, and still holds it because AcE does not control his Zealots properly. Now in game 2, AcE does a significant amount of damage with his early pressure after he gets his Nexus up, but then keeps running forward with the Zealots, running forward with the Stalkers, and he kept doing this little dance where he's like moving forward, then moving back, moving forward, moving back, but not doing any damage. And every time he moved forward, the Zealots took a little bit more damage. They got concussive shelled, they got slowed down. He had somewhat of an early lead in that game, and he threw it away with some miscontrol, some overconfidence. I gotta say, though, MarineKing didn't stutter at all in those games. We're gonna have a quick interview here with MarineKing in just a second. It'll be up any second, guys. Alright, there's our awesome Korean commentators, one of my good friends.
네, 자 승리 축하드려요. 이정훈 선수 소감 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요. 네.
너무 좀 친한 형을 이기고 올라가게 돼서 미안한 것도 있는데 생각한 대로 쉽게
He said he's sorry to StarTale AcE because he's very good friends with them.
네. 자 근데 생각한 대로 좀 경기가 쉽게
He said his
풀렸다고
victory was
말씀하셨지만
easier than he
1세트에서 좀
expected.
적잖게 당황할 수 있을 만한 상황이 연출이 됐거든요. 그 던진 관문 당황스럽진 않았나요?
네, 우서 형이 원래 대회 준비를 잘하는 스타일이라서
네.
뭔가를 들고 나왔을 거라고 생각은 했는데 진짜 정말 거의 1%도 생각을 못했던 거라 가지고 진짜 당황 많이
StarTale AcE
했는데
prepared very well, he said, or at least he thought so, so we
침착하게
expected to see something better from him actually in today's matches.
했는데 어떻게 운이 좋아서 잘 맞게 된 것 같아요.
네, 역시나 많은 경험이 엿보이는 그런 컨트롤이었습니다. 그리고 세리머니를 잘 안 하는데
He
오늘
feels a little
세리머니를
bit lucky about how things went for him today.
외에서도 그렇고 경기 내에서도 그런 세리머니를 보여주셨었는데 특별한 이유가 있으신가요?
거의 그 공식적으로 우서 형이 그 세레모니의 달인인데 제가 우서 형을 이기고 좀 우서 형을 이겼으니까 세레모니를 저도 보여줘야 될 것 같아서.
Said StarTale AcE does a lot of ceremonies when he
김동현
wins.
선수가 16강에서 이정훈 선수와 만나고 싶다라고 얘기를 했었는데 김동현 선수
He wanted to do his own ceremonies, as you guys saw with the command centers.
어떻게 대진표가 보니까 저랑 그 스타크래프트 1 시절 때 같이 생활했던 선수들을 자꾸 만나게 되더라고요.
네.
그래서 이번에 우서 형도 쉽게 이겼으니까 동현이 형도 긴장하시고 제가 무조건 이길 거라고 제가 무조건 이길 거예요.
네. 자 그리고 마지막으로 우승에 대한 목마름이 갈증이 어떤 선수보다
So he's
남다를
gonna win
거라는
his
생각이
next
들어요.
matches?
팬분들에게 앞으로 우승하겠다라고 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
이번 대회는 그냥 무조건 진짜 제가 우승할 수 있거든요. 그래서 제 팬분들은 저를 지켜봐
He
주시고
said this time
믿어
he's no
주셨으면
longer going to be second place. He will be the
제가 무조건
champion.
우승하겠습니다.
네, 아무튼 고맙습니다. 네, 지금까지 이정훈 선수 만나봤습니다.
Welcome back, guys. Next up, we've got Clyde versus Lenok. Not to, those games were intense. They were awesome. They were amazing, and they were like nothing short of amazing. I have to say, they were the most exciting games. Some of the most exciting games I have to say I've ever cast. So, really pleased with how those games turned out. MarineKing very happy with his win, and I think he may be one of the favorites to take this tournament now. He's just advanced so far already, and there aren't that many roadblocks left for him. So Lenok, a very young player, challenging a veteran, Clyde, on team TSL. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. Lenok recently hasn't been doing as well versus Terran as he has in the past, and Clyde has improved a lot. When Lenok beat Clyde many, many months ago, well, it wasn't that many months ago, but back when that happened, I thought that Lenok was actually, or rather Clyde was a way overrated player. I didn't think he was that good, but now he's improved significantly, and he's here. He's playing against Lenok. We're going to have to see how well he does. Now, Lenok's ZVT strategy has kind of evolved over time. He likes to use Mutalisks a lot. It's kind of becoming the trend a little bit. In almost all situations, if you have enough Mutas, you can do whatever you want. So that's kind of becoming their trend. So we're going to get a shot of those players here in just a second. In the meantime, actually, take it back. We're going to take a 2-minute break. So, see you guys in just a minute.